Here we go. Let's bring on our guest. And today we're talking about YouTube sponsorships and how to actually make money with that. So on our channel, we've done a little bit of it. It's not our main thing. We have gotten sponsored on a couple videos, but we haven't done big money or anything like that with sponsored videos. So let us bring onto the stream here. I'm just going to change this here. Rye's in the house. Hey,
Hey,
Rye,
Joel.
how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah,
good.
excited to talk about this topic. And it's really cool because your channel's not very old. And your channel doesn't even have 15,000 subscribers.
I'm one of those cases that for people who are trying to figure out what can go right with YouTube, it's one of those cases sometimes. By the way, this is my dog Ed with a $100 gift card that I won on the last live stream. I kept my word and I bought a bunch of dog treats. We rocked and rolled. Eddie's extremely thankful. Oh, and this was one of the coolest things that I got in the mail. You don't realize that I'm keeping this forever now. It's part of my YouTube journey for life.
Nice.
And this was freaking genius because I guarantee you I'm going to find these numbers one day and be like, I need your help. I need your help. It was genius.
All right. So YouTube sponsorships. I've actually got some questions for you because I wanted to really dive deep and actually just give so much knowledge to the people here. So when starting your channel, Rye, did you intend to get sponsorships? Like, did you know that you were going for that, or did it just happen?
No. So sponsorships only came in like a lot. It happened for me kind of opposite as most people, right? Like YouTube happened before I even knew what YouTube was, kind of thing, right? So I had to figure it out kind of backwards, whereas most people gradually go from XYZ to referrals to sponsors to whatever, right? I started with referrals, and then the sponsors in my second and third month, they just started kind of presenting themselves. And it was at that point that I realized, whoa, YouTubers who have a small amount of subs can actually smash a hammer here. And then that's when things started changing for me. But I didn't intend to. I mean, it was my first video that went viral, so I never intended for anything to pop, let alone sponsors or anything like that. So it was a bit shaky water getting used to what I was good for, what I wasn't into, what I could justify, because especially in my category, which is finance, you don't want to take every single sponsor, obviously, because it'll destroy people. So that was tough, but it was a unique experience for sure.
Yeah, I have a similar thing with doing affiliates. Like, we're very picky on which affiliates we promote, and we like to actually use the product or
You got
software.
to, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to use it, or you got to believe in it in some form or sense. I mean, if you wouldn't do it yourself, that's the thing about YouTubers these days too, is sponsorships are a double-edged sword. They can be absolutely incredible when you use them effectively, but then you overuse them and you're totally stabbing yourself in the gut, and your channel's going to figure that out in 2 seconds. Your viewers can see right through that crap. Sponsorships are one of those things that you got to really I figured, or at least on my end, I find I'm walking a really, really fine line, for
Okay.
me at least. Yeah.
Cool. I just want to, before we get into the other questions, I actually want to share your channel with the people here and actually just show it because, I want people to believe that you don't need to have 1 million subscribers to do anything cool on YouTube. I remember when we had 10,000 subscribers, we were interviewing best-selling authors that had books and chapters and Indigo and stuff like that, and they were on our channel. So it's like you can do cool stuff with a small number of channels. Your channel's about personal finance, right?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say though too, I think this is my second year with YouTube now, going on second summer, I should say. I'm just getting used to the seasonality aspect of YouTube too. Like last summer, I thought that I was just sucking when I realized that ad revenue is actually genuinely down. I have to study this and realize that it's a lot of getting used to the cycle.
With your YouTube channel, do you get upset that you have 13,000 or you don't have 100,000 or you don't have 1 million subscribers?
No, because I know channels with 100,000 subscribers who didn't make close to what I did last year. And I know that for a fact. So I don't care about subs anymore. If anything, I find that my attitude is a little bit brash. I'm a little bit blunt. So some people, it's not an easy subscribe. It's not like a Mr. Beast or whatever, right? So you kind of have to really like my personality or whatever. I just find whoever I do have, though, rock friggin' solid to the end kind of thing. So I'm content with that. And I say that because whoever I do have, we're able to convert each other as a group and a community so effectively. Whereas if I spread out and kind of lost my sense of self and had 100,000 subs, I don't think it would be the same. I don't know.
Crazy. So you guys, this is Rye's channel. It's called Hi Rye. And as you can see here, he does Monday, Wednesday, Fridays live streams, and Tuesdays and Thursdays stock market videos. And here's proof right here. He has 13,000 subscribers, which in the YouTube land is considered like a small channel, a baby channel, right? Even our channel is still considered a small channel. And we're going to get into the numbers here, but Rye's doing pretty well. I mean, there are a lot of people who, and I know them, like they have over 100,000, but they're not subscribers and they're not doing like big numbers with their channel.
And that's the thing about YouTube is if you actually make a channel about something you're interested in talking about, the convertibility is through the roof, simply because you're actually passionate about what you're talking about. You don't have to BS anyone. You just love it. Simple. And then people can usually pick up on the energy. So anyway, I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but really helps that I actually love what I'm talking about for sure.
I think that's the name of the game, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
gotta be.
Eventually you're just gonna want to leave your channel if you're not into it. Like there's a reason why we're still here, and we started our channel in 2015. It's 2022 right now, and I just feel like we're just getting started, really. It's the simple advice of do something you love can go, like, because so many people don't. Like it's sad, and you can tell when people are doing things that they actually like you said, people can feel the energy.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, do you think your channel makes a lot more because you're in the finance industry, or you think that other channels can also do this with different niches?
I think that what I'm making now is simply because of my personality. Why I exploded at the beginning has a lot to do with finance and what happened last year. So two sides of the same coin on that. I think now, though, the only reason I'm still making money and a living on YouTube is because I got lucky and I was able to sustain it with my personality and push it from there. Wouldn't have been able to do that. Like, I mean, I'd love to go into the journey too, because your last video, we were talking about my struggles with consistency. And it's still a struggle of mine, consistency. And I find I'm getting to a point where that's my only issue on YouTube, is figuring out what my style is, if that makes sense. Not even schedule, but what my outflow style's got to be. That's my biggest issue on YouTube, is figuring that out.
Interesting. Within the last 1 to 2 years with our channel, like our videos have actually changed as well, because I've always done like tutorial videos in a very just straight to the point, didn't really do jokes or anything, and just like didn't really have too many visual aspects going on. It's only in the last, I'd say, year and a half or so I started adding in audios and b-rolls and things like that, because I was also getting bored with my own content. And I was like, oh, I need to shake things up for myself when I'm editing it, because I was actually getting bored. So I guess, you need to find your feel, your thing. What's your, do you have personal channels that you watch that you like their specific style, or you want to create your own style?
Yeah, I did. And I found that like it's only going to get you so far if you try to mimic styles that you like yourself, kind of thing. So I ran into that roadblock, I'd say last year. And it was only recently, because it was only about a month ago, I decided, okay, I got to go hard on this or not at all, make a decision kind of thing on what I'm doing. And it was only recently I started putting a lot more of my personality into my videos. And I have 10 times more fun doing it. So I think if I can make it through the summer and the markets, yada, yada, I'll be okay. But I have more fun now for sure.
All right, so let's get into some numbers here, because I'm sure people are wondering that. And on our channel, we love sharing the numbers and what we make on videos and things like that, because I want to normalize it for people so that they can believe that they can do it as well. And it's like, we're just regular people, just finding our way on YouTube and making a living off of it. So on average, what are you making on your videos that are sponsored?
I'm going to break it down into 3 sections simply because there's been 3 cycles with the stock market lately, right? So when I first started my channel and was a nobody, let's say, and I don't mean a nobody, but in the stock world or whatever, let's say below, I had, I think, 8,000 subs. My very first video was $600. Okay. My very first one ever was $600.
Canadian or US?
Sorry, it was Canadian. I
Canadian.
was just happy to get on the board. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, this was, I probably about 7,500 subs. After that, when I was at about 10,500 subs, I had about 7 to 8 sponsors line up kind of in a row. And for that, because the market was in a massive push upward, I was getting my vibe on YouTube. I thought I could justify more. I charged $2,350 for every 12 minutes. And now, since the market has gone down, they're not coming to my door anymore, obviously. So now it's up to me to kind of door knock them, in which case I'm going down. So right now I'm at 1,000 plus a unique commission structure, however we work that out or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm trying to evaluate it now. Like, believe it or not, too, I'll make more on a video with its $1,000 plus commission as opposed to a $2,300 video. Like, I did one sponsor with Neo, which is accessible to anyone to be an affiliate kind of thing. They paid me 1,000, and I ended up making 3,300 something on commission. So you can see how like one 12 to 13-minute video at the end of the year can be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. And if you get a handful of those a month, once a month, twice a month, whatever, you're out of the ballpark. It's over at that point.
When you say commission, does that mean your affiliate link? You're making the money off of affiliate commissions?
Yeah, like I'll get them to either generate me my own code, like a special Hi Rye code or whatever. And if they don't want to generate me my own code, then I just simply charge way more for the video, at which point they always say, no, 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 we'll get you your own code. So it's okay. They always want to pay less up front, but they'll always pay more in the long run. It's hilarious. It's a way to take advantage of it. But I know a lot of people prefer to be paid the lump sum upfront. One thing I've learned with sponsors, though, is that I'll never do a video for only commission, period. Like, that's never happening. You're going to pay me a minimum of $1,000 for 12 minutes, period. Because it's obviously not just 12 minutes. It's the video that's 12 minutes, right? But $1,000 plus my own unique commission structure, that's the minimum. And then if you want to buy me out of my commission, yeah, then we're like $2,350, which is that disclosure I sent you today. That was my chunk of that. And then, can be up to $3,000. It depends what I'm talking about. If I feel like I got a really good video, I can push the message because I actually believe in it. They're going to pay me $3,000. Because if they've already agreed to 23, I'll get the 3. You know what I mean? I won't stop emailing them until I get it. But yeah.
Do they pay you before or after the video is released?
So,
are they having to approve what you say?
Yeah. So I almost always reject people who force me to send it to them for approval. Just because on stock side of things, I don't believe that's true. You want me to make a review video, I'll make a review video, good, bad, or ugly, right? Now, usually I don't take stuff I don't like. Otherwise, I'd be setting myself up.
Yeah.
So, like, they don't review it. At the beginning, I demanded to be paid up front, but I have a certain relationship with 2 people now where I'm extremely comfortable being paid by the quarter, which is lame, but it comes in batches, right? So
that's pretty cool. And I saw that video about Neo, and I was like, oh, he's probably making a good amount of money off of this video.
By the end of the year, like, they paid me $1,000. By the end of the year, that video is going to be a $3,000 video. It took me 4 hours tops, including the research and the email communications, not just the filming. I mean, the moment I even acknowledged this human being's presence at Neo till the moment that it posted on YouTube, 4 hours. Just to give people an idea, with a channel for 13,000 subs, like, if you're passionate on your niche, whether you're knitting your butt off, someone's going to be there who realizes that you've got an audience that you can convert like that because you're so dedicated to your topic, whatever it is, right?
Exactly. And that's exactly why we wanted to do this interview with you, Rye. I got a question here. Rye, how did you start or build up knowledge of the stock market to the point you felt comfortable, or to the point you just wanted to start a YouTube channel? Yeah, that's a good question.
I started trading stocks in 2015. The entirety of this answer is going to be in that last video. So I'd say recommend go check that out. But I'll summarize it here really quick. Started in 2015, had basic amateur knowledge. What had me really want to start a YouTube channel was because, again, the whole story's on that last video. It was a mission that I had in mind. So it was a bit of both. I was an amateur investor. I wanted to start a YouTube channel on a stupid little laptop with 480p and no microphone, blurry screen, no one could see me. So it was a bit of both, though. I wanted to do both. Had the stock market knowledge on this much, and then YouTube just followed itself.
So I feel like stock market stuff people can be critical of your advice or choices.
We saw that was hilarious last time. That was rich. Yeah, that was hilarious.
So how do you deal with that? Or it just comes with the territory, you're cool with it?
Dude, I had already gotten used to that the last time we had a live together. I'm like a duck in water right now. It just rolls right off me. It's not even funny.
Nice. Got a question here from Arit, and this is true. Rye, we get this question a lot. How do you know how much to charge sponsors?
It totally varies by people because I like to minimum charge what I charge for a video. How I structure, though, my commission fees, for instance, or what we do after the fact on a side bonus, that's always unique. Like, it usually depends if it's a heavy hitting, quick option. I mean, like for me, I'll give you an example. Borrowell, they offer free credit scores. It's free, okay? So it doesn't cost anyone anything. You just put your email in, you get your credit score. They'll throw me $16 every time somebody does that. Now it's free, but at the same time, because it's free, they're not making too much money. They're not going to go too far outside the block. I know that, so I know I can't really push them. But then when like a publicly traded company comes to me in a bull run like we saw last year where the stock market's on fire, and you insist on 23 or whatever, I'll insist on 3, right? So there's no like set amount. It's just whatever he comes at me with, I want more. Whatever I come at him with, he wants less. Mm-hmm. It's going to change with everyone. But I'd say the rule of thumb, though, is I refuse to make a video for less than like $1,000.
And you had to get to that point. It didn't, like you said, it didn't initially start off that way because you said you did it for $600, right?
And that was, I didn't even know what was going on. Like, again, this is my first like tour on YouTube. But yeah, it started with 6. I got one after that for like $650. I was navigating, do I take sponsors who just want to pay me commission? And it took me a whole lot of that to realize that no, like there's a value here when several thousand people watch whatever it is that's going on. This is all, related to cash. So this is the most important commodity ever, right? So I started realizing that, and that's why I got, a little bit more aggressive on what I asked for. And they don't say anything about it. So I know I'm not wrong. I mean, now I feel like asking for more.
Yeah, that's so cool. And, when people ask us, oh, what should I charge for my services? I usually start off with what would make you, like, what would feel good to receive that amount of money? Because sometimes when it's too high, then they feel like they don't deserve it, or that they're not going to perform well or something like that. And I actually went through this whole imposter syndrome thing where when we first started out charging for our services, I was like, oh, how dare I charge, $500 for something? Because I would feel bad about it. Because I'm like, oh, that's too high. And eventually, like, we started low. I mean, we used to charge $5 for a PDF design, and then it's gone to 4 or 5 figures per project now. And it's for me, I had to gradually be comfortable with the prices and stuff, because
like, this is one thing that I got over, okay, because this is what I started at. I had that exact same imposter syndrome with how much do I ask? How much can I get away with? Do I even deserve this? And I just thought this at the end of the day, right? Whether I'm willing to accept it for $500 or willing to accept it for $5,000, I'm going to get the exact same amount of likes and dislikes, the exact same amount of love and hate on that video, regardless. So I'd rather be paid $5,000. Simple as that. It is as simple as, like, you want to pay me, like, if I'm content making the video because I'm happy with it anyway, then I want as much money as humanly possible. That's where I've gotten to at this point. So, like, when there is no specific number, as long as they agree that they're going to meet my minimum and then we'll negotiate after that, I know that that's a teammate I can work with.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy that you're making this kind of money and you don't even have a website yet. That's pretty cool. And 2 years on YouTube, 13,000 subscribers. Listen to these numbers, you guys. This is the 4-minute mile here. You can do it too. It's crazy.
Truly, if you're passionate about it, like it's so unbelievable, the numbers. If I told you guys the numbers at the beginning, 99% of you wouldn't believe it. I'd have to show you my phone, and even still you'd think it's a screenshot of Photoshop BS. Like, it's what you can do with a small amount of subs is so up to you, which is the most cliche thing you've ever heard a YouTuber say, period, until you realize it's true. And then that's literally the only thing I follow now. So whether it's the sponsorships, whether it's the videos, whatever, it's just boom, on that razor line focus. But
amazing. Rye, you said you are now approaching sponsors. Can you share your process? How do you find potential sponsors, and what do you send them, and how do you pitch them?
So I am already pretty good at crafting a pitch just because of my old gig. I used to be a sales trainer for Western Canada, but I still do test out pitches. So I'll find between 10 and 15 people that match with my demographics, and hopefully at the same time my content. And then I will message them one message. I'll wait for a response. And the very next day, I'll do another 10 to 15 people with a slightly different email. I usually want to see what the engagement rate is on every single email. Usually do a test of like 75 to 100. At that point, I'm going to have a clear indication of what email converted best. I then transfer that to the next 100, and you go from there. Sending out bulk emails is pretty quick once you know how to find it. So that's pretty much what I've always done for it. And that's my process. So the pitch is always dependent on the people I'm talking about versus my demographic, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a 95% male demographic and 89% Canadian. So it's extremely ripe for a lot of things way outside of finance too. So it's about kind of taking advantage of your demos that maybe might not be interested in what you're talking about, but are the exact same people watching what you're talking about. So there's, I don't know, I look for all that stuff. I test out things. I'm still in the test process of sending out 10 to 15 emails a day for my like 15 different templates. So we'll see what happens at the end of the month or two, but that's my process.
It's a numbers game.
Totally. It's all math. It's like literally all percentages and math.
Yeah. Like, we get emails all the time from people, and the majority of the time we don't respond to them, but there's every so often there's one that catches our attention with a hook, with a video they made of us. It's pretty cool how creative people are getting to catch people's attention.
And that's an interesting thing too that people should take in mind, especially if they're trying to build their own email list, their own communication chain for the next 30 days. Literally, don't think about it, but the next time you open up a friggin' promotion ad in your email, write down why you opened up that ad, go back to them, put it in a special folder, and go study those emails. Go study it because something in your brain triggered. All those things you can do for research. That's not as much a big part of my pitch, but all that stuff helps. Every time you find something that works, I mean, it sticks in your brain, right? It's as simple as that. And you got it from there on out.
Yeah, we do the exact same thing. If I'm scrolling, I'm like, wait, why did I stop on that? What's on the image? What's on the text? Or are they using different colors and this and that? I pay attention to all that stuff and see how we can apply it with our branding and our business as well.
Mm-hmm.
What are your typical terms with your sponsors? So do you say, I'll mention you for a minute, or do they require a certain amount of views from you, or it's like you get what you get, that type of thing?
You get what you get. It is what it is. I obviously can't predict the views, so I don't even go over that with people. You probably just won't hear from the sponsor again if it doesn't perform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the standalone video, it's a standalone. It is what it is. You get the whole video, whether it's 9 minutes or 14 minutes. That's what you get. Basically a 10-minute gig. If it's going to be a sponsorship on the live stream, you do get that 30 seconds, maybe 45. Sometimes it's even 10 minutes because I'm so interested in the topic. But you get that guaranteed mention every single live stream. So for them, I kind of built that package. But I've since abandoned that package because I'm starting to kind of figure out what works better for me. And I think I'm going to place the messaging in videos as opposed to live streams. I can charge more. So it's, I don't know, lots of things I'm learning really about how to figure out how to maximize the 13,000 subs.
How high do you think you can go, like that per video? Like, do you have
I guarantee you I'm going to get $10,000 a video in the next 2 years. Mark my words, dude. And I say that because in that disclosure I sent you, okay? So
Yeah.
I know what I got paid. I got paid 23.50, and I was doing the math on the remainder to see what the other company got paid. They had 45,000 subscribers, okay? And they got paid $3,300 a video. So only $1,000 more. So they
Mm-hmm.
obviously didn't have a hustler on the phone with that guy. Period. You know what I mean? They only got 50% more money, but they have 400% more subscribers. So it's just one of those things. I'm gonna push as much as I can push. I mean, like the info I got today, just figuring out what a channel that 40,000 subs can justify at a minimum without a hustler on board. Well, if they got 3, I want 5. So you know what I mean? I can just work it from there.
I like what you said earlier about how the subscribers literally doesn't matter. It's dependent on you and where you can take your channel
Yeah,
financially.
totally.
And that everybody has it backwards. They're like, no, you got to have the 100,000 subscribers or whatever and
Oh,
have the vanity
so
metrics.
I'm so sick of hearing that. Well, I mean, everyone's like, until you're in it, you don't know. At
Exactly,
the end of
right?
the day, yeah.
Like when, you know, like when people see your subscribers or your views and they're like, oh, those aren't real. There's no way you're making that money. And it's like, I know you're not in the game. Like, I know you're
You can
not
tell.
in the
Like,
game.
and that's the thing. Like, that's why I don't. When people always ask me, like, oh, I don't mind talking about what I make on like sponsors because those are one-offs. But like, if you were to get into referrals, for instance, if you can really capitalize on your messaging with a crew that appreciates your messaging and who you are, what you believe in, and they trust you, that's the thing about what we got to do here, right? 99% of successful YouTubers have built insane levels of rapport with the people that are watching. And I mean on levels that they trust everything. It's those diehards that watch from second 0 all the way to the end, and they keep our averages up, right? So it's how you use everything. It's so interesting. I mean, I'm still a YouTube amateur. I mean, I got 13,000 subs. I learn from you guys every week. Like,
Exactly, right? And you tapped the sponsorships, and you know your YouTube channel is making Google ad revenue, sponsorships, affiliate commissions, memberships. What else do you have? Do you have merch?
I do, and I've only sold two pieces of merch in the last 6 months. It's so slow. It's not even funny. It's almost non-existent.
Yeah, like it depends on the type of channel. I find that when you are like because you're a finance channel, so you're going off of, you know, the market knowledge and things like that. But if you're a family vlog channel, then it's probably easier to sell merch. So it's like it's different for everybody.
Totally. Well, keep this in mind. I want to say this right now too, because you'd think I'm a finance channel. The only people who can, sponsor me are got to be finance stuff, right? Remember what I said earlier, and have this be the whole takeaway. If there's nothing else you listen to me for tonight, know your demographics, okay? Because I'm lining up a sponsor. I'm sure you've seen all those stupid commercials with those T-shirts, and the girls are like, "My husband looks so good in this stupid T-shirt," whatever it
Yeah,
is, right? They're on board with my channel, and we're working out a deal right now because, again, I'm 95% male, 89 whatever percent Canadian, and my audience will eat that crap up, right? And it's like, I want the T-shirts myself. It doesn't have anything to do with finance. So I'm totally taking advantage of the demo. Like that's one. I'd say, you know what, Jewel, if I could say it earlier, that's my win of the week, really, is acknowledging the power of the demo. Because I didn't ever look for a sponsor outside of the industry until recently, when the market downturned and people started paying less, and I started wondering if I can actually do this. Then I went to other companies, and I'm like, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you have that many males watching your channel?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." And they're all like, and they're going crazy, right? So there's options that are beyond out there. People have a wide variety of interests, and
I
we're only
saw
talking about
that.
one thing.
I saw that ad and I was like, this is such a good ad. It was for a t-shirt, right? For men's t-shirts, because to have them shape a certain way so that it looks good. Females get all the shaped
Well, you
t-shirts.
know what it is, right? I can tell you right now, just because I used to sell clothing, and like I used to be really good at selling women's shoes. But it's brushed cotton. Brushed cotton doesn't have that wrinkled look in the light, so that's probably just brushed. And I'm just like, it's sold everywhere, but these commercials look epic. So it's as simple as that, and they're flooding everywhere. But anyway, the options are really endless for where you can go if you take into account your topic, your passion, and then your demo, obviously.
You know who's speaking of, you know, finding sponsors outside of your industry, because some people don't like doing that. Someone who I've been watching, you know, Steve-O
Yeah.
from Jackass. Yeah, so he has, I don't watch the regular Jackass stuff. I watch his podcast because he actually is a really good
He
talker.
has a very, I think people who watch his podcast would be surprised. If I'm not going to ruin anything about it, I think they'd be surprised with Steve-O after watching the podcast in a positive way.
Yeah, because I kind of, I mean, I didn't really watch like the Jackass movies or anything like that, but I saw he had a podcast, and he had some you know, major celebrities on there, and I just watched it one time, and he is so good at promoting all different kinds of products. Every podcast has a different thing that he's promoting.
That's
And
another thing too, Jewel. Have you not
yeah,
noticed that's an ongoing trend on YouTube now? Like
yes.
the standalone video is dying. Like the
Mhm.
standalone promotion. I'm getting requests for forget the standalone. I only want to pay and buy like I only want to pay you for the 1 minute segments in videos, whatever, right? It's an interesting trend for sure. It's easier to do promos that way. It's better, but in my opinion, but it's interesting.
One of the, I haven't seen many people do this, but he'll record the podcast interviews, both video and on audio. He'll record it, and he'll wait at a certain point of the interview when someone says something like related to the sponsor, but totally random, and he
It's
spins it so well, and
it's a
it's like,
segue. It's
it's
and
so
that's
entertaining.
it's the art of conversating, right? Like people don't YouTube is a unique beast because it is so much about your ability to communicate whatever's in here has to come across the freaking internet somehow. And like, there's a way to do it. Steve-O nails it. There's a couple other podcasts I won't bring up that do it for me. For instance, they're just the segues just nail it, right?
Mhm.
That's another thing. But you only get that way when you're super comfortable doing what you're doing. I
Yeah.
don't think I would be this way unless I forced myself into relentless amount of live streams, which I've realized that I'm going to move away from, because I've cut back on them. But the practice makes perfect, right? I mean, now I'm so comfortable I could talk the webcam into silence, right? Or like it would black out. It'd be done. My Yeti will be done.
Question from AW official. Do you have to get permission from the company if you want to sponsor that company in the video?
They get my permission to sponsor it, right? So like I don't have I will ask them if they want to sponsor it. If they agree, then they pay me money kind of thing. So I don't make a video for a company without that already in place, if that makes sense.
I was actually just going to ask you, do you create a video on a company that you want their sponsorship to do it kind of like in good faith or to get their attention?
No.
No, you don't
No.
need to do that. You
Well,
think
it's tough in the stocks because quite honestly, there's so much risk with promoting a company, even a good company. Anything could happen to that company, right? So especially like look at the market downturn. You get blamed for the whole market collapsing. Somehow it's my fault, right? I mean, every finance YouTuber is dealing with this right now. But it's if I'm going to take on that amount of risk to speak on behalf of a company, you're definitely paying me money.
Timothy says, interesting. Do live streams get less for sponsored content than a pre-recorded?
In my experience, I'd say yes, simply because they get typically less views. At least on my end. On my end, they do.
And then you're obviously mentioning, and then you put the link in the description as the first link. Is that what you do for the?
If it's a service, yeah. But if it's like a publicly traded company, I'll just tell, for instance, 30 seconds to a minute what the breaking news is this week. That's what they pay me for. Move on. It's just to keep it relevant in people's minds. It's like the repetition factor, right?
This is so fascinating because I've never really gone into sponsorships that much. Like the highest we've ever gotten was like 500 per video, and it's usually for products like this microphone or something, or this webcam, or some sort of a camera accessory. And we've never really gone down that path. And that's the cool thing with YouTube is you can pick and choose what income streams you want to latch onto your channel, right?
Yeah, and I will say this though too, like $500 to $1,000 is very, very more common than what I'm talking about. So if people are like, how is this guy actually thinking he's going to get $5,000 for a video? How is he getting 2,300 for a video? I'm dealing with money. People, I mentioned this line last time. People won't kill for a Klondike bar, but they'll kill for cash, right? Like it's so important. People spend like crazy. Like for instance, my CPM on YouTube, just because I'm in finance, literally 2 to 2.5 times itself between August and the end of January, to the point where it's disturbing. Like, I mean, so it's truly every niche on YouTube has its own cycle. Maybe there's no cycle actually. Like if you're a knitter, you're good because you've got evergreen content for the end till the end of time, right? Whereas my content expires in about a day, maybe a week. So that's why I got to keep going and going and going. But that also, I use that as a justification to charge them even more because that's not evergreen. You know what I mean? So all these little things.
And speaking of, I like how you bring up like a knitter and stuff. Like whenever I see people who have those kinds of skills, I'm like, you need to start a YouTube channel.
Any skill.
Any skill. Yeah. If you're good at anything, right?
There's people who are opening children's books, not even showing their face. And by the way, the copyright rule, if you have a really great sounding voice, for instance, look up the copyright rule because you can start a no-face YouTube channel just reading people to sleep. And I know Canadians doing this right now with over 1,000 subs and they're actually monetized. I love ASMR. I'm just saying there is literally something for everyone, whether it is reading a book or you're knitting or you're talking about a stupid stock. There is something for everyone on YouTube. It's beautiful, really. It's the fastest growing, and it's going to be the most intense source of medium for media in the future, period. Like that is without question. If you can establish yourself on this medium of media, it's going to be disturbing what you're going to accomplish in 2025. It'll make you sick. Like the conversations I'm going to have with Jewel and Arit in 2025, we're probably going to look back on this and think, can you believe we weren't YouTubers once? Like, it's going to be hilarious. I want everyone to get to that point.
I still think about that. I'm like, I can't believe this is what I do for a job. I mean, when I graduated, this was not invented yet.
Do you ever feel embarrassed telling people what, not embarrassed, but do you ever feel like, do you not tell them the exact thing that you do?
Like that I'm a YouTuber?
Yeah.
No, because I decided to own that. Because I know that there are people that are like, they don't want to say it. Like they do it, they like it, but it's like under the rug. From the very beginning, when we had 1,000 subscribers, I was telling people I'm a YouTuber because it's a pattern interrupt for people because most people aren't that, even though it seems like there's a lot. When you're walking around in the streets in the real world, most people aren't doing what you're doing.
I made the mistake once though. I got my hair cut, one of my favorite barber shops, okay? Ticked me off because I love this place, okay? And the guy's like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, it's been about a year now. I'm on YouTube. Everyone in the place, I'm like, oh my God, I got like no subs because they're not going to believe me what I make, right? I got like 10,000 subs. They're going to be like, oh my God, okay, YouTuber, okay, cut his hair. And I'm just like, you know what? Never again. Never again. Also ran into an awkward problem with a girl who was obsessed with it. And I was like, never again. So now I just tell people I'm a consultant for an online social media company. It works. It works for me.
You're going on the professional side of it.
Yeah. I just consultant social media.
Yeah, no, I actually get really good reactions. They're always like, oh yeah, what's your channel? Like every time when I'm eating at a restaurant, they always pull out their phone and look up our YouTube channel. I mean,
you guys have the subs that feel proud though. Like if I said I'm a full-time YouTuber, no, that's the problem with YouTube too. The outsiders is that they actually believe you need a certain amount of subs to make money.
Yes, yeah.
That's the problem. Is like that's maybe why I'm embarrassed. Like if I had 50,000 subs, probably not. But if I go to a restaurant and they're like, you have 10,000 subs, you're a full-time YouTuber, it's like, I made a lot of money last year. Okay, buddy. And they go and get me my glass of Coke, whatever, right? Like It's awkward.
I totally get it. And I got those exact same reactions when we had 1,000, 3,000 subscribers. We were doing the same celebrations that we're doing now, where, we get the YouTube cake and stuff like that. Like, I made myself my own trophy when I got 1,000 and 3,000 subscribers. And yeah, you are going to get people that are going to like, not really, but
You know
I
what's
tell
funny?
you,
It's jealousy. Remember we talked about that jealousy, like jealousy for YouTubers, because they're always, if
LC
this
for
guy
YouTubers
has
sounds like a
10,000
book.
subs and he's making bank, I must be an idiot, and I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean? Like it's the complete. It's so crazy. It's an ignorance on YouTube. People don't realize that, like, YouTube is one of those things where it's like if you can't see anything in front of you. Okay, you're walking down a path, you can't see a dang thing in front of you, except there's a point when the fog clears and you can see everything. Problem is, most people don't get to the point where the fog clears and they bail and they have no clue what's going on. And that's their knowledge of YouTube, is just this foggy mess of gray black matter that makes no sense. Meanwhile, everyone who actually made it past that sees it's something entirely different.
It's a totally different world. And yeah, when I say that line, they're like, the second follow-up question is, can you actually make money on YouTube? Like, it's still the number one question we get. And that's why, I have to do posts like that and show people, because it's like, they actually seriously don't believe it. But people who've been following our journey since our 1,000 subscribers, like now, like past 10, people were like, they react differently now. They react
Yeah, I don't
different.
know what it is. 10 gives you that extra little oomph on your channel. Not to mention you can start having channel members. You start getting those boast of revenue, which is kind of nice too. Yeah, 10,000's that mark where you're not super tiny, but you're like a small guy you're a small fish in a big pond is what you are at that point.
Yeah, definitely. AW official saying, do you also have to have the amount of subscribers to do a sponsor? So they only have 15 subscribers.
That's not going to get you a sponsor. I will say this, don't worry as much about subscribers, worry more about the videos. If you have 2,000 subs, but you're getting 2,000 views a video, okay, you're going to get a sponsor. If you have 10,000 subs and you're getting 2,000 views a video, like I was, you're going to get a sponsor. Same thing if you have 100,000 subs and 2,000 views, you'll get that same priced sponsor. They pay per view. Same reason why we have CPM metrics and RPM metrics on YouTube. Like, these guys have been doing this longer than we've even been alive and breathing, right? So they're going to be paying on metrics we don't even understand. Don't worry about your sub count. Worry about how valuable you can turn your subs into, right? So get them watching every episode. That's number one, period. Forget the sub count.
Amazing.
I might be totally wrong on that. That's just my opinion. So
that's how you've done it, right?
Yeah, that's how I've done it. So
the power of a loyal small following is highly underestimated. More companies and brands want to work with small channels and be in front of these micro communities. Yes, it's very
micro
true.
communities have one thing that bigger communities don't, and it's a sense of closeness. Okay. So this is why you could live in the suburbs and know your neighbors. You live in Toronto, you're fearful. Like the same thing. No, but am I wrong here though? Like the same thing is going to apply on YouTube. By the way, I know that we're going to skip a lot of comments, but I want to welcome two people who I messaged. I messaged all my channel members, the most dedicated. When you hit 10,000 subs, Phil, okay, and you're going to hit it tonight. Jason Spooner, if we go down to his comment, he's a hilarious comment. And then Riley Mack below him. Literally, these two, when we're talking about a dedicated community, these two guys have been with me through thick, thin, and everything in between, constantly contributing. And it's about the community, right? Like, these two are literally a perfect example of what a small community loyalty does. Those, and I'm glad you guys, if there was any two people who were going to come, it was those two. That's
amazing. Let's go back to this. Yeah. The micro influencers, they're huge. Like, companies want them now. Before it was only they wanted like big YouTubers or big this, big that. But the microness of everything is extremely powerful. And you kind of have to switch your thinking. If you think that you won't get picked, then you won't get picked,
Well, you know what I love about this comment and how it relates to SEO, which is perfect for your community, Everyone wants to go over the most popular keywords and they take the most popular number 1, number 2, all the way through number 10. Okay. And they get nowhere. Why do you think you're going to get nowhere? It's because you're a nobody competing with the most popular keywords, period, against Nike or this or that or whatever, right? Small fish, big pond kind of thing, right? Like go with the middle ones. Whenever I do SEO, I never go top. Never. If anything, I'll go with the ones with a 30 ranking, a 40 ranking, and I'm always number 1. Period. No, but I'd rather be number 1 on that keyword than not rank at all. That's my one thing with SEO too. Like anyway, on the micro community as opposed to the highly popular big stuff. But yeah, sorry.
No, that is our exact SEO strategy because
there you go. I mean, awesome. Okay.
That's what we teach because I'm like, everybody's going over there. I want to run the other direction that's also getting searched. You know, that's the whole key here is that you may have 1 million searches over there, but you might have, I don't know, 20,000 to 50,000 searches over here that people aren't ranking for that you actually have a chance for.
Well, my very first website I ever created, okay, I took that approach on SEO. I started a silver and gold website where I was just selling silver and gold. What I would do is I would buy silver from a store at $23 and sell it for 25. And yes, this worked, okay? So how I ranked on page number 1 of Google, okay? I focused the entirety of my SEO on a garbage keyword, which was grand opening sale on the specific day for a week. Okay. And I just put those days in. I was page 1 for Google. I made about $800 my first day on my first website ever created at 13 years old. SEO.
Wait, hold on. You ranked for grand opening
sale with the date.
What?
Friggin' right, dude. I did it. And at like 13 years old, I made $800 selling silver that I didn't even own yet. So the money went to my bank account. Then I went to the store. Let's say I got $800. I would spend $650 on the silver, ship it off. There's my $150. And that was SEO entirely as a 13-year-old kid. So for people, and I was ignorant. So for people who doubt SEO and what, Orit and Jewel can teach on that front, and I might have to learn something, but it's SEO is going to bring bank. It's period. I mean, I hate to say it, but
that's amazing, and I freaking love that story. That's so cool. That reminds me of all the random stuff I did when I was young. But yes, SEO is like our whole thing. It's we like to rank for search. We don't typically like to go for the viralness just for our mental sanity, because I know what it does to you when you just trying to go for the latest and greatest, whatever is happening, news that's just come out at the moment. That's why we love evergreen content, and that's why we do SEO. And that's why I always go the other direction, and I make up a lot of stuff. So once you've been doing this for a while, you can see what is going to do well. Like, for example, there's a software called ClickFunnels, and do a quick search, and I'm like, okay, there's not many tutorials on a certain topic. It's not necessarily ranking in the SEO. It just means that nobody's created videos on that. And so I like to go for completely obscure stuff that haven't been done yet. And
that's
the
most
ClickFunnels videos
do
amazing.
I got to tell you, like, okay, look, for people who are insane, okay, you would do it the old fashioned way and try to promote the most popular keywords whatsoever. Let's just say you're hunting something that has the potential for 1,000 searches a day. You're going to get 100 views, okay? Of which those people will be disappointed because that's really not probably in line with the competitors that they had options, right? You go obscure, like what Jewel just said, and defined on your keyword. Not only have they gone so far out of their way to type that keyword to find you, but you're the only cat there.
Yeah.
You're the only cat there. You've got it. It's the fish is on the hook.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where you've got to provide the content so that they keep coming back, which of course you guys do, but it's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, I mean, like, because it's like they searched for it, they found you, and you've solved their problem. We're a how-to tutorial channel, and now they're indebted to you. They're loyal to you now, and you've gained a fan. And they're like, they think in their head, if this was provided to me for free, what if I paid, for some service or something that they're offering? And it happens a lot. They're like, are you selling anything? And it just happens when you give value. Now, there are some people who, don't want to give all the knowledge for free on YouTube. What are your thoughts on that?
Like how to grow a YouTube channel?
No, just, I mean, like, how we're doing this live stream about sponsorship, and I'm like asking you in-depth stuff, and you're just saying exactly, here's how I make it, here's how I got it. Like, you're not holding back. There are people that, hold back with their knowledge because they're like, they want to keep it a secret, right? And they feel like they shouldn't give it out.
Okay, that's a good question. And now this is where you're going to start recognizing my brash and blunt attitude. So whether or not everyone hears the story, I don't really care about that. It's about inspiring people, for one. Everyone has a different path forward, period. My path is going to be totally different than someone else's, and they might get there faster. So forget all that stuff. I tend not to worry about it. You know what I mean? I tend not to worry about that stuff, and I don't want to sound rude or anything, but I don't worry about it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's do some advice here for Tracy. She's got a gardening channel. Any advice for her? She's got 2,500 subs. Her main revenue right now is from Google ad revenue, which is going up right now. And she's starting to get like a spike in views. Like, certain videos are popping off. What would you do? Would you tell her to just keep doing it, or reach out, or have a thing in the description? What would you say?
I would always be taking advantage of the description for anything that you use in your videos or anything that you like or whatever. As for gardening, you're going to see a natural spike every spring probably. It's going to be the inverse of what I see every year. So I wouldn't really think about that outside of the fact that, like, use the time wisely when it is pumping like this. So maybe time for more content. As for, sorry, can you repeat that? I lost my train of thought after that.
No. So gardening channel. How would you give her advice on sponsorships?
Well, what tools do you use? I mean, are there gloves that, I don't want to sound sexist because I don't garden, so I don't know what she's doing, but I mean, like, are there gloves? Are there tools that work just for you that wouldn't work for anyone else? Something like that is without a doubt probably the easiest thing. We've got Phil from Great Outdoors who tested chainsaws, right?
Yeah.
I learned that on your so I mean, there's product placement everywhere. You're wearing 5 sponsors every time you fill yourself in the garden, right? So that's it, number one. So it's really just, and then you, like I said earlier, what are you doing? Are you passionate? What's your demo? So you've already got 5 products that you don't even realize that you're using in this thing that you could reach out to if you wanted. Combine that with your demo. How do you associate that now to create a pitch to bring to whoever, and go from there? That would be my advice. I'm not a gardener, even though I'd love to be, but I'm not a gardener, unfortunately. But that's going to be a slow and steady wins the race. You're not going to be completely evergreen. That's my honest advice, simply because the fact that you're going to have a dead season. So I would do what I try to do it. I don't know if Jewel and Arit have a dead season, but I know I do. So right now is my dead season. I'm trying to compensate, but I know now going forward for my up seasons, which is Christmas between, again, August and January, I'm going to have to go, absolutely to the wall. Like,
it's interesting you say about the dead season, because actually before the pandemic, it was like, summertime, because people are just, going away, having fun and stuff like that. But I would say that the pandemic has changed things, and people are just like, I need to get online, and I need to do this, I need to do that. And people aren't really taking the summer vacations right now. They're
not. And you know what? Maybe the dead season only applies to me now because the market's crashing like 1929. But I would say that I'm still learning. I don't know much about how to run a gardening channel. All I can say, though, is to definitely take advantage of the math offered to you by YouTube. The math and the analytics provide more information than you could gather from talking to them, from anything. And you want to keep talking to them. But the math is clear as day. 1 + 1 is 2. So it's nice. Use the analytics.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, one of the things is she uses a specific soil that I have now been using for repotting some of my plants. And, you know,
Does it work?
when it
Work
does
well?
actually,
Okay.
because I bought dollar store soil initially
That
because
doesn't work, Jewel.
I was like, dirt is dirt, but it's not really. It's not. There's different qualities of it.
There's
And
dirt and then
yeah,
there's dirt.
$20 dirt per bag and then $1 dirt per bag. Rye will be on every week.
I don't think every week, but anytime they're down to have me on and talk YouTube stuff, like my channel with respect to theirs, what we've learned, all that kind of stuff, because we take different approaches. That's why I think what we have is valuable here. Because like I've got no subs, but a different side of income. They've got subs relying on the income that I can't grasp yet. So it's a yin and yang. It kind of matches, but not every week, but whenever you guys, obviously, but whenever you guys want, dude, like I'm on board. I love these. They're high energy.
And initially it started off with, I was obsessed with growing our Google ad revenue. And then it turned into getting clients from the videos. So I don't pay as much attention to the Google ad revenue because I know what a long-term client, like what the value of them is, right? And then getting continuous design work, website work.
Well, that's another misconception too, is like when you're creating a video, why are you creating the video? Are you creating the video to be viral to get as much views as possible when the average view only pays you less than a penny? Is that why you're making the video? Or are you making the video to put in front of 100 people with the hopes that the average national conversion rate at 1 to 3% means that you can convert 1 to 3 people at whatever you're doing, which could be between a couple $100 and a couple $1,000. That's a 100 view video making thousands versus a totally different outlook trying to hit a viral status, getting the same views, doing nothing because the pitch of the video was inaccurate with what you were trying to achieve. It's really important, actually.
It's the mental switch and the thinking that you really need to go for, because that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that I learned entrepreneurship first before I landed on YouTube, because that's the approach I took to YouTube very initially. I'm like I treated every viewer as if it was a customer, always giving full value, knowing that in the future it would come back some way and somehow. And I feel like I'm reaping on all that now, and I'm extremely grateful for it. And, to be able to have this live stream and stuff. I want to end this off with one last question here. Would you recommend that every YouTuber try and get sponsors, or is it for a specific type of people? Do you need to have a certain type of channel or personality?
There is a product associated with every human interaction, period. So there are sponsors for you no matter what you're talking about. Even an ASMR channel trying to put me to sleep, there are sponsors in it. There's a sponsor for everyone, everywhere. It's really just how you can find it, craft it by knowing yourself, knowing your demo. And if it doesn't fit, you'll know in your gut and move on. But if it does fit, you'll know. You'll look at Phil again. He's a perfect example because he's outside of you, outside of me, doing tutorial videos with actual machine tools, right?
Yeah.
Like perfect example. Or he could just make videos showing people his work, right? But he's taking advantage of what's in front of him. Every human interaction has a product associated with it if you look deep enough. So that's really up to you to find. Again, though, it's up to you, your channel, and your demo, how you put that together with the opportunity that's in front of you. But like I said, I don't care if you're gardening with a little shovel and a glove on and a stupid hat. That's 3 products right there. I don't like, and I mean, honestly, that's 3 products right there. And if you're going to put the content out anyway, why not get paid $500 to $3,000 for it?
That's I'm like, if you're going to do it anyways,
that's what I mean.
Well, earn from it.
Let me just say this right now, because I think your channel's starting to pick up on it. Just before we go, click on Side Rider real quick. His first comment there.
Which one?
Gardening down twice.
The bug spray or this one?
Bug spray. He's getting it. This is what I'm saying. Gardening, knee pad, fertilizer, bug jacket, bug net, hat, glove, whatever, right? Like, it's stupid little things where I have a link on my YouTube channel where I have my webcam link, my laptop link, this stupid microphone link. and they want it. So why not? If they want the microphone I use, so be it. I mean, there's opportunities everywhere.
Yeah, and when I'm explaining to people, they're like, I don't have any products for my niche or industry, and I'm like, well, what camera are you using? What microphone are you using? Are you using a light? That's your basic. Like that's at the
Well,
very
quite
bare.
honestly, if you really believe you have no product sponsorship opportunities, then go look at your direct top 10 competitors and open up the description of any video that they have. Write it down, period, and start there from square one. Like there's opportunities. It's that you're not able to see it.
Awesome. All right, people are loving it. Thank you so much, Rye. Do you have any last words for people about sponsorships or anything else? Any advice, really?
Outside of the fact that this is going to be a make or break for YouTubers, in my opinion, over the next 6 months, stick with it simply because everything's going to be rough. Ad revenue, this, that, whatever else. I don't know if you're monetized or not, but make it to the next ad revenue season in the fall and then readdress things if you're actually feeling sketch. And if you're not feeling sketch, then hit rewind on the video because we were dropping friggin' golden nuggets left and right here. So rewatch it.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Rye, for joining us here on episode 101 of the Essetino Weekly Mastermind. Subscribe to Rye's channel. It's called Hi Rye. Where is it? Yeah, Hi Rye is his channel name if you're into finance stuff or if you just want to watch him for the energy, which I do. Like, I'm not really into stocks or anything, but I just watch you do your market open and market close. Thank you so much, Rye, and thank you everybody for an awesome stream. And the super chat donations from Riley Mack and Jason Spooner. Thank you
Two
so
rock
much.
stars if I ever seen them. Period.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next Thursday at 6 p.m. PST.